Looks like they might be getting ready to reduce the vehicle. They're waiting for the other people probably. 7:16 a.m. September the 4th, year 2020. There's the sun right there. Today's Friday, September the 4th, year 2020. All resource materials goes back to God, capital G-O-D, including the Empire State Building. Pastor Mike Ascher's message. And Gerry Padgent said it a long time ago when he was doing children's church. I can't pronounce right. And fixing the buses, he was called Mr. Fixit. And the bands and all them. Now God called him to be a preacher. Anyway, and he gave a message to the adults, so he says, if I mention children, then it supports the habit, he says, because he used to teaching kids. But anyway, now Roy Justice is doing the children's church, and he's loving it. He likes giving the word of God to the kids. Then they become teenagers, and then they branch out and be used for God's purpose. Anyway, my nephew William, I pray he gets saved. He's either 20 or 21 years old. His birthday is December 31st. He's a New Year's Eve baby. He needs to get saved because God's right around the corner. Everything is adding up. Everything that God said in the Bible that said was going to happen has happened and is going to happen. And if he was saved, he would see right through the devil's delusion. As Bob Valyer's message and Jim Ben Gilder's message, the devil's delusion. At a certain point, God will harden people's hearts that didn't get saved. So it's important to get saved now. As Mark Taylor says, youth director since 1980s on up, says, when God pulls on your heartstrings, don't fight it. That might be your last chance. And Mark Taylor has said, and I told William this when he was a little boy at Cherokee Apartments. He was sitting on his bed playing his Legos and stuff. I said, it's important to get saved now, William, because Mr. Taylor said it's hard for people to get older to get saved because they're too high-tech. But kids are wiser when they're little because they understand the world around them and know there's a creator, a builder that builds everything. Now you're so high-tech that you said that builders of the TV set and radios and a house is humans and scientists and engineers. Well, God created those people to be that. And those people might be saved. So when you mention those engineers and TVs, there's a creator behind it. God, capital G-O-D. He knows the numbers of your hair. Even Roy Justice always stresses that. He knows the numbers of your hair. Even if you don't have any hair at the time, he still knows the number. He knew what you're going to be like before you were born. Like a car when you take it out. You know, that car was built. And if you called up and made it specific where you wanted it, then you know exactly what you wanted. That's the message of one of Pastor Mac Ward Palmer's message in 1980s. And another message that he mentioned, Mac Ward Palmer, pastor, he said that this is his theory, but the fiery pit could be a black hole somewhere. It is pitch dark. And that the lasers stinging everybody could be helicopters with built-in lasers. We do have the technology for lasers more in advance now than ever before. So Matt Palmer is in the right direction. And we got holograms. You can reach out and touch someone. Well, anyway, I've got high-tech cloaking aircraft, cloaking and decloaking on video camera. And people have seen it with their own eyes, including military people. They were walking and they see a whole bunch of jets, and then one jet just seems to fade out into nothingness. They were saying either it was a projector of one in front of it projecting an extra one, or it just cloaked out. Look up Ben Rich. He says that if Steven Spielberg and George Lucas would see what all they've come up with, they would be in awe of what they've done. Now, you know what Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, warp drive and all that other stuff, and cloaking and force shields and force fields. We have that technology. Ion warp drive. A lot of things in Star Trek we now have. Floppy disks, holodecks, means holograms. We have doors that open and close by themselves. One time, Tommy was waiting for the longest time, and Aunt Becky said she did too. Then they realized that wasn't set up to open and close. You have to open it with your own hand. But nowadays, I think all of them are set to open up by themselves. But then again, you might still have some that you got to use your hand. I mean, you still got to do that for the mail post office. You got to use your hand. But nowadays, you use your glove to open it up, as you still wear the 2 masks on your face and wear goggles or eyeglasses, because the COVID-19 virus has mutated. And now it can get into the human eye. God is waking everybody up. He woke you up on 9/11. People are more alert. Taking soul tracks, being more alert. Even at Halloween, I put the candy in a sewing track, and one girl dropped it and she put it back in her bucket. That's how they remember 9/11. Even Doug Kager says, never forget 9/11. And he put the Twin Towers as 1-1, 9-1-1, 9/11. Doug Kager heads up to Air Force Baptist Missions. Him and his wife. Their 2 sons are helping out. One's into science, Christian science, and the other's in a computer Christian science, helping Bob Jones Christian College.